This is way better than we expected as multiple Canucks prospects stood out this weekend in the prospect showdown versus Seattle, with one in particular getting high praise from the Vancouver Canucks management, and this is exactly why fans should be fired up for these key prospects. We're going to break down these prospects, why fans should be fired up. This one in particular that is almost dead set to make this team out of camp, and an update on Braden Coots, who went down with an injury. We're going to break down all this and so much more later on this episode. Before we get into that, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching this video. We're trying to reach our goal of 8,500 subscribers before training camp starts, which is coming up this weekend. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure to go down and hit it. It's completely free, and there's no better place to catch daily Canucks content than here at Canucks Digest. But with that, let's just hop straight into this, where we do know a lot of prospects stood out for the Vancouver Canucks, but there's four in particular that have huge implications on this team moving forward, with one set to stay with the team the entirety of this season. Now we know Braden Coots, drafted by the Canucks 15th overall, did go down with an injury, which did cause a bit of a stir. But the big thing is Tom Willander came out to say Canucks forward Braden Coots was held out Sunday for precautionary reasons. He expects to be available when training camp opens next week. So the big thing with Coots, we've seen him go down with an injury, which almost opened up an emergence of another player that we're going to touch on. Seeing that he's going to be most likely available going into training camp is a huge thing for Coots and the Canucks, as he looks like a dark horse to join the team coming out of camp. Now, the player that stood out the most at the center position as he got promoted with Coots going down was Riley Patterson. Riley Pettersson coming out of the Barrie Colts. We did a full video where he was traded in the OHL as well, looking for a bigger role and wanting to win the championship. Riley Pettersson didn't step up a lot from year 1 to year 2, regressing by 3 points but playing less games. The big thing with Pettersson going into this season, with the Canucks lacking a lot of center depth, seeing Pettersson take the next step this year in the OHL is going to be a big determining factor. Now, with him stepping up, he looked awesome in the prospect showcase. And listen, there's a lot of prospects playing against prospects, but Riley Pettersson stood out, a player that's going to be very intriguing for the Canucks moving forward, as they did take him in the 4th round, which Allvin has shown, and we're going to touch on one in particular that has really shown that he can draft in the later rounds. The big thing with Pettersson coming in has a blazing crossover, smooth puck handling to attack the inside and catch the defense off guards. Sometimes he dangles through opponents before ripping a quick release wrister. Now, the big thing with Pettersson, 25 goals, 29 goals the year before. Still only 19 years old. This is going to be a big season in the OHL to watch the young centerman continue to develop and look for his position within Abbotsford to work his way up. Now, the big thing is going further, and we know the Canucks need as much center help as they can get. They do have a relatively good center core, and I think a lot of these guys are going to take a huge step in the right direction. We know Pettersson is due for another breakout season. Filip Hronek is looking to have a big season ahead of him. Ratu stepping in as one of the best face-off guys in the entire league, and Teddy Bluger. The center core is not that bad as fans make it a see, but it can be a room for improvement, and bringing these young guys up through the systems over the next couple of years is going to be big. Now, the big thing is going in, a name that I've talked about a lot recently, Gabe Chiarot, has really made a name for himself, not only in the showcase, but also going into the OHL preseason, looking for a huge boost in production with Brampton Steelheads as they lost a lot of players. He's going to be a big vocal point of their offense this year, tied for the OHL preseason leaders with 7 points. Gabe Chiarot is going to be a name that is on a lot of fans' radars, and a lot of radars are going to have him severely underrated. Going in, 21 goals, 35 points, not looking the best, but 7 points during the preseason. Gabe Chiarot's another name that was a 6th round pick that is slowly going to make a name for himself and look like a hidden gem throughout this Canucks system. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to jump straight into the lineup, but this is a guy to watch during training camp and the preseason if he gets in, for Canucks fans to really look at the future of this team. And Gabe Chiarot seems like he's poised to make a jump in production in the OHL and with the Canucks for the years to come. And now listen, this is not going to come this season or next, but Gabe Chiarot is a very interesting prospect, and I've been loving how he's developing his game. Brother of Ben Chiarot, the defenseman, he's been around the league. A crafty off-puck mover with a quick release. He's a nasty backhand. Chiarot is difficult to stop on the doorstep, ducking in and out of coverage, outworking defenders to the puck. A big thing with the Canucks that we've seen over the past draft was they're going after guys with the work ethic to go out and be hard to play against. We've seen it with Coots that has a high motor, and Gabe Chiarot fills in perfectly like this as well. We know his brother Ben Chiarot is a bit of a nasty guy that can throw hits, and if Gabe Chiarot can turn into the forward of this, but also produce a little more, this is going to be a home run for the Canucks. Now, going further, the name that everyone looked at the most, Tom Willander. Tom Willander, in my opinion, and listen, the comment of the day says it the best, so watch out for that. But the big thing with Tom Willander, he looks NHL ready on this prospect tournament. We know he's going to want to come into camp, put a spot and name for himself within this Canucks management group. And as soon as I can find the lines here, looking at the defensive end, and we're going to touch on one more guy in this defensive end that has huge praise from management. But the big thing is, with Tom Willander, I could almost certain that he's going to get NHL reps this year to start the year, halfway through the year, or at the end, as he's going to cycle in on that third pairing with D-Petey, Derek Forbort, and Tom Willander. These three are going to cycle in on that bottom pairing, and Tom Willander looked incredible. He looked poised. He looked like a man against men. Everything I've seen from Tom Willander really had me impressed. And listen, we're going to do a full video on this, and I'm sure I'm going to not shut up about him going into training camp. But the big thing with Tom Willander, he looks poised to make it, and he has the size for it as well. 6'1", 180, and this is going to be a little off. He's probably grown an inch or two, and he's also put on weight. Tom Willander is going to be someone that is going to be the best prospect on the Canucks system for quite some time, or if we want to say a full-time roster player. Now, Jonathan Lekkerimäki looked good as well. I don't want to touch too much, as we've touched a lot on this as well. We know he needs to put on weight. He threw a huge hit. He opening the score in the game, second game, sorry, I'm in a bit of a blender, but Tom Willander and Lekkerimäki are going to headline the prospect list, but there's one guy in particular that Manny Malhotra couldn't stop talking about, and that is D-Petey. D-Petey played with the Canucks this year, putting up 3 points in 28 games, and it is almost certain that this guy is a lock on this Canucks team, and if someone's coming out for Tom Willander, it's not going to be him. Manny Malhotra said it best when speaking on him. The thing that stood out to me about him, he hasn't changed his game. He doesn't play any different, whether it's the American League, which he got called up, or if he's against prospects. He's being physical. He gaps up people to see that. For me, that's a sign of growth and maturity. Now, Manny Malhotra was also asked if he throws hits in practice. He said, oh yeah, he lights people up. There's only one speed with Petey. Seeing the development of Pettersson, and once again, a little bit of a trend, a later pick in the third round, this Canucks management group has done a good job. They haven't had a lot of first round picks. We've known they win through a lot of bad lottery odds. But the big thing with them, they're building a respectable prospect pool that the media hasn't looked at. Listen, the Canucks media talks about it a lot, but a lot of media outlets, when they're ranking the Canucks 20th, 21st, all the way to 28th that we've seen, they're not looking at the potential and how many of these guys are truly on the cusp of breaking into the league. Lekkerimäki, D-Petey, we've seen last year. Tom Willander, all these guys are ready to break through, and I think that's what separates the Canucks a little bit from a lot of franchises. But what you guys' thoughts on this? Who do you think stood out the most? It could be someone I never talked to, and there was a lot of call-ups. We can do videos on that as well. Let us know down in the comments, and speaking of comments, let's get straight into comments today. Coming from Cole, saw Willander make some NHL caliber plays in the game. In the second, he got the puck down low in our zone, drew in 2 Kraken's forecheckers before spinning, taking a shove, and then sending it around the boards for a breakout. Tom Willander is going to get games. I'm willing to put money. I'm not a betting man, but the way this kid has played, he has looked insane. Him and D-Petey are going to be 2 must-watch names in training camp because there's a real shot that both of them, and especially D-Petey, crack this lineup. But what you guys thoughts on this? Listen, I love the picture as well. It's funny to see this, but the big thing is, fans, what is your thoughts on the future of the team? What are your thoughts on the prospects? Who stood out the most? Let us know all that down below, and you can be featured on Comment of the Day. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We're going to keep up daily coverage for you guys going into training camp, the preseason, this season, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and hopefully the finals. So you're not going to want to miss all that. But I've been your host, Mark. Bye, and take care, Canucks fans.